Hello and welcome to the Roughneck Minute, a Movies by Minute podcast where we go over the movie Starship Troopers 1 minute at a time. I'm one of your hosts, Matthew.
And I'm your other host, Johann.
And we're at minute 64. This minute begins with the troops encountering the first warrior and ends with Shijumi seeing a bit of red.
So we're about the halfway point to the movie, correct?
A little less than, because the movie itself, including credits, is about 2 hours and 9 minutes long.
Yeah, we're about...
So we'd still need to be around maybe a couple more minutes and then we'll be halfway.
Okay.
But yeah, we get our first view, or actually the squad gets their first view and encounters their first warrior. It comes screaming out at him. Scary even. Like, when I watched this in the theater my first time, it scared me.
Yeah, you can see one of the troopers actually lose his footing because he kind of jumps back from the appearance of the warrior.
I think that's Jimmy, actually.
Do you know if this warrior's the puppet or a CG? It does look like the puppet to me.
So parts of it look like a puppet and parts of it are very CG as well too.
The only reason why I think it's a puppet is because the CG, the lighting isn't ever correct, or it's not corrected, and this one looks like it's matching, like as if it's part of the actual scenery.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I mean, one thing I've learned in my years of movie watching, doing CG at night, especially when you can control the lighting, is a little more, is easier to do than it would be during the daytime. So it could be, CG as well too. I think of any of the Dark Knight movies where they never showed Batman during the day because, they couldn't really CG out his, joints or anything.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually at 3 minutes and 9 seconds, right as our poor Lieutenant Willie gets shanked, as the kids call it nowadays, through the chest. And that little mandible, or that little skewer of the warriors, just goes right through it. But that skewer looks incredibly CG.
Yeah, that part does. Even the part where he's flailing on the ground at about 19 seconds, where they really start to blow into the bug, you can tell that it's just a guy just flailing on the ground and probably shooting at a green screen.
I do like this the second that I stopped at, though, because, as I said, Willie is getting impaled, but it looks like a squib just went off right under his armor, so he's getting, just a copious amount of, fake blood up on his chin. It's coming out from his shoulder and everything. It looks super good. Even at this point too, I can definitely tell that the skewer itself is fake, but the blood is not.
Yeah, Sizor used slash and it was very effective on Lieutenant Will.
Yeah, and then again at 3 minutes 11 seconds, those skewers again are a bit fake, but the stuff that's in him, the blood, the gore and everything like that, that is not fake. And then the warrior itself goes down and starts, as you said, just mauling the heck out of him. Now, the troopers themselves, they're not taking military intelligence and that military scientist word to heart. They're just pumping lead into this thing.
Well, like I said, the video was shown to the home audience. It wasn't shown to the troopers.
But what I'm thinking, though, is if they're showing it to the home audience, wouldn't the troopers already know this?
Yeah, I guess. But it's a line or something that's in World War Z, where they're trying to attune themselves to shooting the zombies. Is they said that they've been trained pretty much to shoot center mass their whole life, that now when you change it to only headshots, you can't miss. So it's one of those, first you've been trained to shoot these dummies the entire time, and now you're actually coming face to face at a bug. Because remember, this is the actual first time they've come across even because they didn't even shoot at any bug dummies. It's always been soldiers. So this is their first encounter with a bug, and you're trying to shoot at the nervous system. It's just one of those, when adrenaline comes through, what you've been trained to do, it doesn't even match what you're actually going to encounter. So I don't fault them for the fact that they're missing at all.
No, and now that I think about it, I don't really either. This is their first drop. This is their first encounter with this thing. I I hate to say it, but my theory of this is kind of like dispelling my theory of the MI, or I'm sorry, not the MI, the Federation, wanted this war with the bugs or planned it, because I think they would have probably planned or knew or taught their troopers to fight better against the bugs if they knew that it was going to happen. The troopers, when we see them, they're training with, test dummies that are just human based, bipedal, head, arms, everything like that. They don't have any other training dummies or anything like that.
Yeah, they really don't. Okay, so I just noticed on 103, 1 hour 3 minutes, at about like 11 seconds, 12 seconds, and 13 seconds, there's a distinct line on the left hand side, and it's something I saw in the sequel, Starship Troopers 2. It was a sequel, right? Yeah.
Heroes of the Federation, yes.
Yeah. Where they had an image of the warrior and they splice it in, and that line is just like a telltale that they splice it in from something else. So this image of the warrior tearing into him at that scene, it might have been from a different scene, probably based on like when they filmed it.
That makes a little sense, yeah.
Like, it's probably just a recycled scene. I guess I got to keep an eye out of something that looks similar to that.
Yeah. Well, the troopers then, after having about 5 troopers actually on 1 warrior, which is kind of a bad ratio if you think about it, should usually be 1-to-1 if Carl can take one down. But after they dispatch that warrior that killed Willie, Kitten yells out, "Here they come!" And yeah, here they come, guys. The whole entire. Well, not the entire, but a large group of warriors just comes crawling out of their holes.
Yeah, but one thing I want to point out, this I think it's like right after it, like 16 or 17. Let's see. No, it's at 19, where you have a Lieutenant Will on the ground, like with his hands up, pleading basically, "Don't kill me" to the bug. So I paused it at that part. He's pretty high up on the ground.
Yeah,
like,
he is.
His head is pretty much waist level to the MI at that point. But here's the scene where it looks like they're shooting at a green screen, because it doesn't look like the bug is actually making contact.
Okay.
And then as they're shooting, their guns are elevated way too high.
So you're thinking that this was someone with a ball on the end of a stick saying, "This is the bug, this is the top of the bug, shoot here, shoot here"?
But they're even missing that. I don't think they were... I think they were more shooting at like a dot on a green screen than they were a ball.
Gotcha. Well, yeah.
Because it's one of those when you eventually have to correct it for how close the bug is supposed to be to look realistic to stabbing Lieutenant Willie. Once they corrected it, they couldn't redo the shooting, and so the guns were just up too high.
Gotcha. Oh, that makes sense then. Yeah, so this probably was a full CG bug, then it doesn't get into the puppets until later. Probably cheaper at that point too. I'm pretty sure those rigs were kind of expensive.
Oh, I'm pretty sure they were, especially if you weren't a company that was creating a bunch of like puppetry, especially as complex as the warrior. I mean, later on, the brain bug, that's a little bit easier to stabilize and interact with.
Well, it's not moving too much. It's just pulsating, and that stuff you can just do in CG, no problem.
Yeah.
But we... one thing I did notice, we were discussing this, earlier in the movie as well, too, whether these guns, the Maritas, actually were bullet or had some kind of like cartridge-less bullets or something in there, what they were using. And I did point out that during the Battle of Clondathu, you did see brass on the ground. And at 1 minute 3 minutes and 30 seconds, you actually do see that brass. It's shining.
Yeah, also at 26, you see you see the reflection of it.
Yeah. So they are using a ton of ammo. Now, it's weird because these weapons, the Maritas, they're looking like they're maybe using 30-round mags. These troopers are going through 30 rounds no problem, easily, within like 10 seconds, I think.
More or less.
So yeah, so they're. I think it's. I have to suspend my disbelief of this whole entire thing, kind of like I do with the Aliens pulse rifle, where that one is, I think that's bullet fed as well too, but it's magazine fed. You put that in there and it has like 99 rounds, or at least the counter can go up to 99.
Yeah, because we know this is a bullpup rifle, so you can see where the magazine is supposed to be, and it definitely doesn't look like it should be holding as much ammo as they've been using, considering we haven't seen them reload the entire movie almost. Actually, no, we do see them reload in Fort Joe Smith.
Mm-hmm. We do, and then we also see them. Actually, that's the outpost.
Is it just the outpost? I thought it was Fort Joe Smith.
Fort Joe Smith was the Mormon place that got destroyed.
Oh, that's right. They don't go back.
No, it was. I think that was Whiskey Outpost.
Yeah. All right. Never mind.
No problem. I mean, it's a valid point. I mean, they do reload during that time as well too. Even Dizzy says that she's out, and then I think Rico tosses her one last mag,
and he says, "Make it count." Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the only time we actually see them running out of ammo, or actually that ammo was necessary.
Well, so what I'm thinking too is the kind of thing like, again, in the book World War Z, they were using, old, guns, more like M14s with their wooden furniture on them, and they had a ton of ammo with them as well too. Maybe they actually have someone in the ranks that is pretty much a ammo handler,
Yeah, there's always a battery line that reloaded, and basically all the ammo was carried in like the tanks and whatnot, or like the Humvees, and they just marched along the side of them.
That's what I'm thinking as well too. But the troopers, let's get back to the movie a little bit. Troopers are a little bit worried now. Even Ace, Dizzy actually does say, "Hey, Ace, what are we doing? What are we doing, Ace?" And he kind of says, "I don't know." And I'm pausing right now at 1 hour, 3 minutes and 31 seconds. He's got a little bit of a watery, teary eye thing going on.
Yeah, he's in shock.
He's pretty freaked out. The rages of war may not be for Ace.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Okay, so after he freaks out and he doesn't know what to do next, these are the things that differ from the script.
Okay.
So I stated before that we see like the workers building fortifications and then the warriors kind of approaching.
Yeah.
When Shijumi runs up and breaks rank, Johnny says, "Don't waste your ammo on the workers." That's when he actually says something, because Ace hasn't taken command of the squad.
Oh,
it's not the "give them all you got" line.
Oh, he actually says, "Kill them all."
Yeah. Oh, kill them. Oh, okay.
Yeah, kill them all.
That's right.
Kind of thing.
My bad. Yeah. But yeah, instead of that line, Johnny says, "Don't waste your ammo on the workers," because Shijumi's just blindly firing like he is in the movie. But remember, at this point, they were in the Marauders, so he's just like blind firing like pulse cannons and magnesium flash. So everybody's just getting kind of blinded, I guess, by what he's doing, so they can't really see the oncoming assault.
Oh, that's cool. He's actually, just like in the movie, or just like in this one, he's, kind of having that bloodlust that he has.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets on Ace's shoulder. He's like, "Come on, man, let's get him." He's into it, man. He was into it when the drop happened too. That he kind of had that type of personality that was like he was ready for it.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like a Harvard man when he does that, though.
Well, I mean,
I got into Harvard.
well, so I don't think there's any like statistical study or anything that shows how many kind of maybe sociopaths or psychopaths are actually in Harvard at the moment. So, I mean, we never know.
Yeah.
Gun-toting crazies going to Harvard, who knows?
Yeah, I think sociopath is higher than psychopath.
Okay.
I think that would be more accurate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how many? Never mind. I'm not gonna equate this to video game violence because it's no correlation at all.
Nope. Considering that the video game violence in the video game of this movie is tamer than the actual movie.
I wanted that game so bad. I never had it, but I wanted. I also wanted the Independence Day flight simulator too.
Those ones were always gone whenever I went to Blockbuster.
Yeah,
probably someone stole them.
Probably.
Always happens.
Those weren't console games. Those were computer games.
No, the Starship Troopers I thought was on a PlayStation.
It may have been. It probably was ported over, but I remember specifically it was coded by some Russian or some old Soviet satellite country's company as well too. But it was available for PC. Both of those were. I'm sorry, PC CD-ROM as they called it.
Okay, I remember seeing the box for the Independence Day at Blockbuster. Though I thought it was on a console. Unless I could be wrong.
It may have been, but I mean that's not the way you're wanting to play it, especially on the PlayStation 1. That game, I mean, you would need dual joysticks on the PlayStation 2, like the DualShock specifically to play that game if you really wanted to. Otherwise, you would need like a joystick on the computer like I had.
Okay, I did a quick search online. It was available for the PC, but it was also available for the PlayStation and the Sega Saturn.
Okay, well, again, both those consoles aren't really good for flight sims. I mean, using a D-pad to move around or fly is not really cool.
Yeah, it says that the PC scored at 5367 out of 100, obviously.
Yeah.
The Saturn was 5250. But if I'm not mistaken, the Saturn did have 2 directional pads.
I want to say it didn't because my brothers had one and it got stolen from me while I borrowed it. And I don't think it did. Either that or we just didn't have, we had the base model and it was, the normal 6-button Sega controller that was the predecessor to the Genesis controller.
Yeah. I just looked it up. It only had 1 directional pad. Which one of the Sega systems had 2?
That was a Dreamcast.
Dreamcast, that's the one.
Yeah, the Wave, not the Wavebird. I'm sorry, that's the other one. That's the GameCube.
Yeah,
GameCube had the Wavebird. No, yeah, I was a Sega kid growing up. I mean, that Dreamcast was a real letdown. I love that thing though.
I loved the Dreamcast. It had so many good games.
I know, but they didn't. I mean, it was their swan song. It was their last thing that they could ever do.
That is true.
So it was just a really. It was a game system that had a modem that came with it.
That was
like
mind-blowing.
You could get online. Yeah, I mean, you could definitely do it with the PS2 as well too. But that was an attached, a thing that you had to buy additionally.
Yeah.
I mean, the VMUs for those things, the little cartridge that you could play outside of the game.
Hell yeah.
On the go with the Chos.
Yeah, the Sonic game.
Mm-hmm.
But not only that, like the Phantasy Star with the modem.
Oh,
that was just amazing. That was I don't know. I had so much fun with that game.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about doing a gaming podcast, and this would be perfect, topic for that as well too.
Yeah.
But we need to get back to our minute. We're diverting way too hard on this.
It wouldn't be a podcast without diversion.
Of course.
All right, so we have Shijumi running up to the line, breaking rank, which in the old Roman times, this would be punishable by death. And very reckless because you are in the firing line.
Yeah, he is, but I think they're clearing it a little bit slightly because they do see him going, and he is, at least wounding a few warriors as he goes. I don't think he's killing a lot of them, but he is, knocking off parts.
Yeah, but one of the first live fire simulation is walking up in file.
He has that personality right now where he is seeing red. He wants to kill.
Yeah. I'm just saying that it's incredibly reckless considering he was in the same group that Breckenridge got his head blown off.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That sounds way too reckless to me right now.
Right, because he's doing the exact same thing that Breckenridge accidentally did, except he's doing it on purpose. I mean, like Breckenridge, it's because they grow big and dumb on the farm.
But this one is from Harvard, or he's going to Harvard, so he's not big and dumb. He's just kind of crazy.
Yes, that's what I mean. Is he's just being incredibly reckless right now, and that's the thing that kind of irks me about what he's doing is because he's seen the consequences of rushing up front. Granted, this is the first present day. When Lieutenant Will died, it was a 1-on-1, but now you're facing a swarm and you still run in. It's not the safest and best move.
No, it definitely isn't. But is there anything else you want to say about this minute at all?
No, I think I'm all right.
Well, that's where we're going to end it, guys. That's really where that minute ends. Shijumi is, just going around capping bugs at this point.
But, one thing I want to say about the way he's attacking the bugs is, he's seen one, and it took 5 people to take it down, and he's shooting each one with maybe 3 shots.
Yeah, he's just doing a burst here, a burst there, a burst there.
Yeah, no, he's just agitating more than anything else.
Yeah, definitely he is. He's just blowing on him, making him, kind of... I equate that to blowing on a group of ants, just because I had to recently, actually today, because there were ants in my bathroom.
Ooh, that sucks.
Yeah, it's gotten cold out, and they want to come inside to get water and stay warm.
Yeah.
Well, where can they find you, Johan?
Well, you guys can find me on Twitch and Instagram at JDASHD26. You can find me on Twitter at OMG It's Johan.
And you guys can find me at AltTabMatt pretty much anywhere on the internet. Twitch, Instagram, Twitter. I actually just posted a video on my Instagram of my son enjoying his brand new ball house. He really loves that. We're recording this after Christmas, and he absolutely loved it. But you can follow the show itself on Twitter at The Roughneck Min, M-I-N. You can go to our website, theroughneckminute.podbean.com, for any past episodes of show notes. Or you can go to our Facebook group, The Roughneck Minute, Billet, Billet, to continue the conversation and talk about crazy Harvard graduates. Why not? Also, go ahead and find us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, whatever podcatching app you can find. Please subscribe, rate, and review us as well, too. We really appreciate it, guys. But I've been one of your hosts, Matthew.
And I've been your other host, Johan.
We will see you on the bounce, troopers.